Hey everyone, it's Deke. Today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of a quest line that you get in the Assembly of the Deeps in Gundergaz, and it is this kobold quest line called Home is Where the Candle Is. This is what they call a local story now, but it's like a side quest effectively. But it's actually a chain of side quests because when you start the first quest, it leads you to 3 different kobolds that you have to go out and do stuff for. So first we're going to talk to Skitter here. And he says, assist forming Grimes, Janky, and Granny Scribbles. These kobold names are really good. You will get this Cinderwold Sizzle Stinger as a pet for the completion of the final quest. That's a tongue twister. Cinderwold Sizzle Stinger. So after we pick up the first quest there from Skitter, we're going to run back over here where you do your wax turn-ins. And this is where you're going to find the 3 kobolds that you're going to have to do quest lines for. Now, the one that I like to start with here, I should mention that this is a quest line that is a local quest, but you'll need to do it on all of your characters if you want to unlock this special vendor that you get when you complete it.
Hey, you give that.
So we're going to talk to Granny Scribbles here, and you have to go through a bunch of memories, like memory storylines that she does. And this was really cool. I really enjoyed this storyline. This might have been one of my favorite quest series in the game. Number 1, it's really easy because when you finish it, it just ports you back out to her. You talk to her again, it ports you back into the next memory, and you just complete it. So for early access, I started with my warrior and I did the main quest line to completion. And then when I was done with that, and I did a few other things, some dungeons and some other stuff on my warrior before I started my second character. But then I started this character, which is my paladin, and I did the Isle of Dorn and Hollowfall. Those 2 zones, I did all of the local stories, the side quests, in those 2 zones on this character, along with, herbing and mining and a few other things that got me XP, and that is how I leveled this character. Then I was like, okay, well that worked pretty well. I still have 2 zones to go. Let me do another character. So I ended up doing a Death Knight, which I played Unholy with, and I did the final 2 zones. I did Assembly of the Deep, and I did Aj Kahet. So basically what that meant was that I missed all of the side stories on my main character, right? And I missed some of the side stories on this character too. So when I did the Death Knight is when I did Assembly of the Deep. So I didn't find this quest line until my last character. And once I was done with it, I realized, you need to do this quest line on all your characters, probably your main character, because you unlock this special vendor at the very end of it that allows you to buy movement speed buffs, damage buff, and like a little guardian candle that runs around with you and just fights with you. And they cost 25 gold, and they just stack in your bags, and you can just buy them indefinitely. So this quest line I think is really important to do on any characters, just so you can have those resources, those buffs. I don't think you can use them in like dungeons and stuff, but you can use them basically anywhere in Khaz Algar. I think of like leveling up, I probably had the most fun though with this paladin. I liked I like their movement skills. You just have huge bursts, so you can just kill something really quickly. Okay, so you can see here, this is a weird phenomenon that happens though. At the end of these quests, it ports you out, and it almost kills you every time. I'm not sure what that's about. But you'll see, like, every one of these quests is going to almost kill my character just when it ports you out, so I'm not sure what that is. Okay, so Granny Scribbles is going to tell us another story, which means we're going to go do some more stuff for her. So now we're in a cave-in. This whole storyline is really cool. It's like, I think it's about getting the kobolds out of the caves and out into the overworld. I found that like the kobold storylines and quest lines and just the theme and the story and the voiceovers and stuff for the kobolds in this expansion has been incredible. Like, really surprising, but they are my favorite race and my favorite characters to interact with. I find them very compelling, and I'm really kind of hoping now that we can get an allied kobold race. Like, how cool would that be to run around as a little kobold, little candles burning all over you? So we'll see if that ever comes to the game, but they definitely sold me on them with the... I think the voice work has been just incredible with the kobolds specifically. But it's really cool to kind of get to see them a little more fleshed out. Because, you know, I can remember in, you know, at the beginning of Vanilla over in like Elwyn Forest or whatever, like if you play a human, you know, you're immediately fighting all the kobolds. And so this is kind of full circle for the kobolds getting to express some of their storylines, and we get to actually see some of their culture and stuff. And I don't know, I think they're really cool characters. I don't know, maybe other people don't think so, but
valuable resources in the area. Get ready to
shut up, Rufius. So I don't know about you guys. I'd love to hear from whoever's watching this much of this video and actually gonna be here with me, but do any of you guys play on war mode? Like, I always play on war mode. I'm not like, in World of Warcraft, I'm not the biggest PvPer. I tend to play on war mode though, because I do like world PvP. I like PvP in general, but I find, you know, doing arenas and stuff a little bit monotonous. I like doing some battlegrounds here and there. I actually really like the epic battlegrounds, but you know, they're just not that fun usually because most people don't know what they're doing and they take forever and the queues are forever and all that stuff. But if you have like a legitimate group of people doing those queued epic battlegrounds, they can be really, really fun. Like, I think they're well designed. It's just doing things with pugs and queue systems, you know, doesn't always optimize the fun. Okay, so we're on to like the third part of the quest here. So you can see this first quest line. I probably should do it last instead of first because it's the easier, more fun quest line of the three. But so apparently there's like a cave-in. I'm terrible at reading the quest text. I love the main story arc where you know, everything's voice acted and all that. I'll definitely listen to all that. I'll watch all the cutscenes. But as far as reading all the quest text, that slows me down a little bit more than I'm willing to do, really. I'll read some of it here and there, and I'm kind of trying to do a playthrough with the main quest line where I actually do stop and kind of read the quest text on everything. But man, it just makes the game so freaking slow that I just like, you know, I like to keep the momentum going when I'm actually playing. But what I was going to say though is that I wish this quest line had all just VO and this was like one of the main campaign quests, because it's just so good. And what are these mobs, these NPCs right here? Stonehead Kobold Crusher. Like, I don't think you see those mobs anywhere else in the game. So, I mean, I think this is actually kind of a pretty heavy storyline. It's like, I think all these kobolds are like enslaved working in the mines. And, you know, this is kind of like a freedom arc for the kobolds, which is pretty heavy. All right, more Granny Scribbles quests here. Can't remember how many there are exactly. I think there's like 5 or 6. This one is pretty cool. You just basically, you feed this hungry mole, and then you just race around on it. I kind of always like the quests that... Now, I think there's been quests that are badly designed like this, where you do things like this. But quests where they're just really fast and easy, and they kind of break up the monotony of just running around killing stuff, I do enjoy that in the game. Same with world quests. I think the quest where I get to do dragon flying stuff, and you know, I don't really love the what's the quest called where you do all the photos. I don't love that quest, but I don't mind doing them just because it's something a little bit different, a little bit more casual. Sometimes my hands just need a break from all the combat stuff. So I do like some of these quests where you just get to do kind of fun little things like this. I'm assuming this has something to do with using the moles to escape. I'm not sure. You can see Granny Scribbles has a little mole like sleeping behind her. I guess the moles are kind of like the kobolds version of dogs. Okay, yeah, so I think this is the last quest of the line, and you have to climb this incredibly high tower. So this is like the climbing world quest you see, except it is like the tallest tower of all time. Like, it's a really long way to the top. But really easy, and you can just kind of spam click these things, and not that hard. Might have to dodge a mob here or there, but... So the mob knocked me off, but I was able to grab the stone from falling as well, which is, you can't do that, I don't think, on the World Quest version of these. You also don't have any of your climbing tools or anything, the Dragonflight climbing tools. So we're just climbing, I think we're trying to get to the surface here. Yeah, so she's saying that there's like a crack in the ceiling to squeeze into. There it is. Yeah, and then it puts you out on the surface somewhere, I think. Yeah, it puts you in this cave, and then you run out. And here I think we're just trying to get some kind of flower or something. It's pretty interesting though, like what she's saying, like, and I'd never thought about this before, but like moles can't really see very well. So I think the whole thing with the candles is like, they need the candles to see in the dark. I mean, I'm assuming that's like their design in the game, which actually is pretty cool, so. Yeah, so this flower that you get out there is basically to prove that she made it to the surface. So that's the whole storyline for Granny Scribbles. I think that's really cool. It's probably worth like really reading all that text. There's not a lot of text on that one. So now we've got Janky and we've got Foreman Grimes, and these two quest lines have to be done in order to complete this. So it's basically a three-legged story or three-story arc quest line. You have to do all three story arcs in order to unlock this final thing. You get the pet, and then you also unlock this vendor that I was saying earlier. And this thing here is pretty easy. You're just basically cleaning up around town. So you have to like pull some stuff, some rubble, and clear up some little marmots or something. Stone skitterers. That's what they're called. There's some rock you have to clean up. I definitely feel like with The War Within, they did not really innovate much in the way of any of the quest lines or world quests or the way things function. Like they may have streamlined some of it, and they may have like made some of it better and feel better, but they didn't really innovate at all. I haven't really done anything in the game so far that, you know, the world events obviously are a little different. Like going into this Awakening the Machine thing is something kind of new, I guess. Though not really. I think there was a Torghast level that was very similar where you did waves, but it was actually extremely hard. So here with Foreman Grimes, you have to do this thing where you click on, you know, this is that thing where you have to throw the things in the pot, the different ingredients. It's a similar thing where you have to click the machines or the little devices in the right order, and he's yelling. The only way that it notates this is by his yells, so you have to read your chat. And he actually, different than a lot of the cooking ones that you've seen in the game prior, this one's really fast. Like, he is yelling at you, screaming at you, and you have to run fast, and if you aren't fast, you fail. I think I failed a couple times before I got this started correctly. I mean, you just talk to him to start it again. It's not a big deal, but I just noticed how quickly this one moved compared to some of the others. Yeah, see, I fail here. So I think this whole quest line is somehow talking about how the kobolds, you know, got involved with the earthen, I guess, here to build the city or something like that. I don't know.
Nice weapons.
Nice weapons, no kill me. I mean, I just love the kobold VO. It's just so good. Like, I know it's just voice actors, but, you know, if you can kind of suspend your disbelief, they're just like the cutest little creatures. I already feel bad enough when I have to kill, like, the wildlife in the, you know, just for quests and stuff. I just don't like killing wildlife, and then now kobolds are on the list too. They don't feel like monsters to me anymore, so I don't want to hurt them. I just want to help them rebuild their cities and stuff. So this quest that you do is, you've probably noticed that that's a world quest where you just fly up through the steam vents. Those are the type of world quests I really like, where they're just really simple. Okay, so this is an interesting quest. You have to do these puzzles, and you can skip it, but it says here, you know, it takes a long time. But I actually like doing the puzzles and stuff like this. Again, it kind of like gives you a break and just lets you rest, you know, some of your faculties and engage some other faculties. So the first puzzle here is very simple. It takes very few clicks to get this one done. They kind of ramp up in difficulty as they go. Actually, I think the second puzzle might be the hardest of the puzzles. So it looks like I've reset this puzzle 3 times trying to get it. How many moves did it take you guys to get this puzzle, if any of you have done it? Or did you just skip it? After 3 or 4 attempts, I'm like, I'm figuring this puzzle out. So I was determined to do the puzzle. Very close now. There we go. Okay, then the third puzzle, which I found the third puzzle to be actually much, much easier than the second. Okay, now we go turn this quest in. Now I think on your first time doing this, obviously you get like rep and stuff too. I think this is the last leg of this quest line for Foreman Grimes, and you just kill this mob, and I think this is the end of the Grimes quest line. Okay, now we just have one quest line to go. And that is meeting Janky in Cinderwold. So this quest is up around all of the bees where everyone's doing the farming to get the mount. So it's kind of a tricky area. Just because there's a bunch of those elites everywhere.
Valuable resources in the area. Get ready
Typically, I do go after all these war mode boxes, but obviously I'm not gonna do that while I'm trying to get this quest line done here. So I actually think this last leg of the quest is probably the longest part of the quest, or maybe it's not the longest, but it definitely felt the most tedious of the quest lines. Like the other two, you know, the first one is obviously at one NPC, and then the next one is like right centralized there in town. This one, obviously, we have to go out of town and go find some stuff. You can see those little orbs in the sky there. I just made a video that should be up already about how you can farm your weathered harbinger crests just by flying around. Okay, hot wax and might not right. So here, I think you have to like knock these little, see the little bees with all the poison on them? You have to knock them out of the air with this little tornado thing. And then we're killing the mites. And you do have to be kind of careful over here because there are a bunch of those elite bees, I think, around. I feel like it was really crazy the first time I did it on my first character because everybody was over here farming like crazy. It was like a pretty intense zone. And since I play on war mode, there are, you know, there will be packs of the opposite faction running around that you have to avoid or be prepared to fight, which, being by yourself, you're not really going to be able to fight a group of people, so... And everybody over here has been grouping to do these, the pollen farming. Yeah, I think these quests where you have to, like, use items on stuff, and those are not my favorite kinds of quests. I'd rather just be able to run up and kill stuff if I'm going to have to do this. Instead of having to use an item, have something come down, then spawn a thing, then fight the thing. You know, there's just kind of a lot of steps in it. Which can be a little bit annoying. I like the quests that are a little more straightforward, generally. I always have these bugs with my auto loot where it just stops auto looting for some reason. But yeah, I think when you're having to do, you know, 200 quests or something, or 100 quests, you know, it's fun to have the monotony be broken up, you know, with things like those puzzles or whatever. But I find that some of the quests where they just have tedious steps in them, you know, I don't love those. Okay, now we've got all the mites dead, now we're just trying to get the wax. Which is not coming out of these slimes. It's just on the ground over here. It looks like there's not really that many elites right here where I'm doing this, so I guess my memory was just off about it the first time I did it. But there are a ton of mobs, so you just got to be prepared to fight a lot. And with Retpaladin, at least, you know, you have this 30-second CD that just basically is going to one-shot something, but in between that 30-second CD, you know, it takes you a little bit to kill things. I'd love to hear what you guys, for those of you that are still listening now, which I'd be surprised if that's many people, but those of you who are enjoying this kind of content that I'm doing, like, what was your take on questing, the main storyline, the campaign, and local stories and side quests. What has been your opinion and take on that from The War Within? I think it's been great. Now, this may be like the first time that I've ever truly done every single quest in the game. I just actually got my Lore Master achievement this morning because they patched out the Memories of the Sky quest from the Hollowfall area, which was preventing me from getting it because it was on this like weekly, the weekly reset needed to happen multiple times to get the quest to finish it or something. So they patched that out of the Lore Master achievement. But this is like the first time that I've ever done like I mean, I may have done it before. I can't really remember. I mean, I've played every expansion, but it's hard for me to remember. I usually don't like questing, and I have found that since Shadowlands, I think Shadowlands is for me where it changed, where I started kind of enjoying the quests more and being a little bit more present for the questing experience of the game. But I really liked this one. I think as far as the main campaign's concerned, this has not been my favorite. I think I preferred Shadowlands. This may be comparable to the Dragonflight experience for me. Dragonflight was pretty good. And this one has been pretty good, but I think the side questing in this one is by far on a whole other level. I think the side questing in this expansion is the best that it's ever been, to the point to where I wish some of the side quests were the main quests with VO and stuff. So I'd love to hear what you all think about that, what your opinions and stuff are. I mean, videos like this obviously are going to be for people who are a little bit more chill and laid back and want to just do some fun stuff in the game and aren't, you know, I don't know what you call them, hardcore people. I think of myself as like a hardcore casual. It's like I am competitive and I do like a challenge and I do like to complete difficult content, but I also just like to do it my way, however I want to do it, when I want to do it. You know, I don't really like to be on a schedule, and I don't like to have demands be made on me. You know, it is a video game after all. Like, we're all here to have fun, so at the point it starts to feel like a job, then I don't know. It just kind of goes out the window for me. The fun part of it does. So I try to play the game exactly the way I want to play it, right? And not have let anyone else's expectations of how I should play it have any effect on my experience. And I found that is the most fun way to play WoW. I've also found that I tend to drop off pretty quickly in an expansion. I will play for a few weeks or maybe a month, but I tend not to really stick in when the only things to do are Mythic Plus, pushing raid tiers, and stuff like that. So I tend to drop off pretty hard after the initial thing. You know, I like to get really like PvP geared for like world content and do all that stuff when the game's fresh and people are out in the world and it's alive. That I find that to be very, very fun. I think I made a really big mistake here, and I did what I was saying earlier. There are some of these elite bees here, and I pulled them, and this bubble is not going to last long enough for me to kill my target in this cave, I don't think. So we'll see here. Can I fight this overpowered mob? Yes, I can do it. I'm a Retpaladin. I can do anything. They really did totally change the power level of the mobs and stuff now in the game. I think it says that they didn't really change anything at level 80, but so maybe that's just me looking at the difficulty and leveling now and saying like, oh, maybe it's hard here too. But I don't know, maybe it's not. I was able to kill that elite pack along with my target. Okay, so now that was the end of this leg of the quest. Now we have to go back to the Ringing Deeps, back to Gundergaz, and we have to speak with Bosch. So that whole leg of that quest chain right there, I found to be pretty tedious, just finding the stuff I needed. And, you know, it was just a lot of mob fighting, a lot of like extra steps in there. So not my favorite part of the quest line, but you got to get through it just so that you can get this thing wrapped up and get these really, I think, in my opinion, it's like a must-do quest line because of the rewards you get for doing it. Now, again, if you're just doing this on a main, you're going to be getting a ton of reps. So you obviously want to do it one time for sure. But I think this is probably worth doing on many of your alts, if not all of your alts, if you are actively playing those alts out in the open world and doing things, especially if you're using them to farm materials. You definitely want to do this quest line because it's going to greatly buff you for those activities. Okay, flying back into Gundergaz here, we're on to the very last step of this quest line. You speak to Bosch,
Offering amenities.
and Bosch is supposed to help you with something, except in order for Bosch to help you, you have to speak with the innkeeper because Bosch needs the innkeeper to help him. And then the innkeeper won't do the thing you need because he needs somebody else to help him. It's one of those kind of quest lines. So you have to run around and talk to all these NPCs. And they finally send you on an actual quest that ends up being that they need some coal, effectively. But these people are not communicating very well with one another. So now we've talked to the foreman, Shayla. And then there's one more person. It's this blacksmith over here.
Offering amenities. Make your choice.
Now we have to go speak with Foreman Swart about the shipment. So it's basically just, yeah, you have to talk to all these NPCs. So it's 5 NPCs you have to talk to. And then he finally gives you a quest that you can actually do, which is getting elementally active coal. So you're going to click on these coal piles and you're going to have to fight some earth elementals. And you do need 12, so it takes a second to do this. They don't all spawn enemies, but most of them do, I'd say. At least half of them do. So I try to just throw out a stun and open as many piles at once as I can so I can fight more than one mob at a time. Just to try to quickly get through it. I got 2 that time. Yeah, and it did spawn 2, so most of them do spawn elementals that you have to kill. But the good news is we're almost done. All we have to do is get all of this coal, and then we have to run back and tell the one person to tell the next person to tell the next person to tell the next person that we've got the coal, and everybody will be on the same page again. And then I think it will allow Skitter, I think it's Skitter is his name. It'll allow him to open his store in Gundergaz, which is effectively what we've been trying to do this whole time, is make it so that this poor little kobold can just, you know, we're basically getting we're going through building codes and, red tape to allow this kobold access to build his little shop in town.
Let's see what you have earned.
So we talk to the blacksmith, then we go back over to this
We all have
foreman.
tasks.
Then we go back to the innkeeper, and we tell the innkeeper, hey, we've done whatever it is you wanted. You guys love each other now.
You here to help?
Now, finally, we go and we give the news to Bosch.
Your next task.
And now we've done it.
Something.
Your next task, purchase something.
Oh, wait, did I have to purchase something? Maybe I did. Yeah, the merchant stall parts. And then it's janky, not skitter. So you can see kobold culture and integration. So this is a whole quest line. So once you turn that in with janky, he now sells you candles. And you can see where he is here on the map. And he'll be here permanently. And this is so cool. You get Spark Spitter Candle, Animated Candle, and Janky's Finest. The animated candle is summons a waxling to defend you for 1 minute. This Janky's Finest provides comforting light in the darkest of minds. Gives you 25% movement speed and 25% reduced shadow damage. And then the other one gives you a chance to deal something like 60,000 fire damage. So when you use Janky's Finest, it puts like a little candle on your head. And there you can see the little pet. See the little candle? That's pretty cool. So the reason that you want to do this quest line, though, is because you get the Janky's Finest, which gives you a 25% movement buff speed while you're in the outdoor areas of Khaz Algar. And that's huge. I just think you just want that. And you can just buy these in stacks. They're 25 gold. Some is kind of expensive, but not really. And you can just keep these in your bags and you can use the buffs whenever you want to. So that's it. That's been the quest line. Home is where the candle is. After you finish with Janky, you run back in here to Skitter. You turn it in. You get your Cinderwold Sizzle Stinger pet. And you are done. I hope you've enjoyed spending this time with me doing this quest line. And I hope you do it yourself so you can unlock your kobold vendor. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.